Hi guys, my name is Kavya Sharma and I welcome you all to my YouTube channel. I hope all of you guys are doing good. I hope all of you guys are keeping safe and your loved ones are safe as well. I always keep on repeating, COVID is not yet over, so please make sure that you guys are taking care of yourself, you're wearing your masks, you're using your sanitizers, especially in crowded places. Okay, so very recently I shared that on my YouTube channel I'm starting a story reading session with Kavya, and the first story is already uploaded. I'll link it here somewhere so you guys can watch it, and it was called Brown Girls from the East. And today I'm back with another story, and this one is called Nain Tara. So I'm gonna look down because I'm gonna read it from my laptop. It's a short story. I hope you all enjoy this. If you do, feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe because that means the world to me. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, Nayantara. I'm gonna look down because I'm reading from my laptop, so please don't mind. Rishikesh appeared a little more crowded today, especially during the spring when Goddess Ganga flowed through the stark brown hills, making her way down the crowded plains. The sun here rose earlier. It wasn't a perfect shade of yellow, but a little more tanned and still. The ghat I lived on was quieter, on a higher plane and alienated in comparison to the others. An unevenly built road led to our ghat from the main highway road. The little well built huts of all the Pandits stood in a single row. They were painted in pure sandalwood color, while the lower corners were bordered with red. There were exactly 3 long steps to the river Ganga from my hut. Although the ghat usually remained clean, but during tourist time, you'd find an unlit diya, plastic polythenes, flowers, or some temple samagri lying on the steps towards the Ganga. The river symbolized for its purity and magical healing powers. There were official cleaners appointed by the government and local communities to take care of such things. But I couldn't help minding my own business, so each night, late, when the ghat was as empty as a graveyard, and all you could hear and feel was the sound and touch of the Ganga flowing at her own pace, I'd carefully stroll down the steps and check if things were in place for the next day early chores. The morning aarti on our ghat began at sharp 7 a.m. The head pandit reached 15 minutes before time to set the aarti plate himself, while his assistant pandit checked the ghat for its cleanliness. It was only Nayantara I saw waking up every morning before the sunrise. She lived 3 huts, leaving mine. Every morning she would wrap a white hem around her body and folding her hands slowly move towards the river, shivering, then taking a step back, calling the gods and finally taking 3 continuous dips in the holy river. She would carry her Guru Mala along and again, folding her hands to the rising sun, she'd bend down and rush back to her hut. After having prayed and donning her usual saffron sari, she'd sit outside my hut exactly at 5:20 a.m. and touching my feet, she'd then ask for my blessings. Nayantara was brown, like a beetle, with a heavy stitch mark on her forehead and a thin body that appeared dropped down, almost like an old woman's. She hardly spoke, but never failed to carry a slight smile that made everyone believe she was happy. It was Nayantara's duty to cook the morning and evening meals, for all the Pandits every day. And never in all these years she has failed to do that, not a single day. She would first serve the food to the gods, and then, with the helping of little learning Pandits, she'd serve the meal to all the head Pandits smilingly. It has been 7 years now that I've seen this young woman follow a set pattern of her life. She was hardly 17 when she came here, begging. There was blood, red all over her face, her body. My weak eyes failed to see the wounds. All I saw was red, as if someone had shamelessly smeared the color on her, as a punishment for something. She bowed down to me, folding her trembling hands, and in her feeble voice kept on begging for forgiveness. I am a sinner, she kept on crying out loud, showing her wet, blood-stained dupatta. She was completely wet. I moved closer, but she kept on taking a step back. I am a sinner, she cried again. Far away in a blurry vision of the Ganga Ghat, I saw a dozen men carrying lathi sticks and shouting slogans that faintly heard, an impure woman can never bathe in our holy Ganga. It's been 7 years, and for 5 days every month, she is still a sinner carrying a dead child in her womb. This was it. It's a serious one. It's a fictional story with a message. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you do, let me know in the comment section. See you in the next video.